Looking back at last year's draft, the Patriots kept the 15th overall pick, took Mac Jones. There was a lot of pre-draft chatter about the Patriots targeting Justin Fields. Well, of course, that didn't happen. Bears moved up to number 11 to take him. So far, though, Mac's had the better NFL career, 11-9 record, more than 4,500 yards passing, 24 TDs, 18 picks, 89.8 QB rating. Fields, though, on the opposite end, 4-12, 2,800 passing yards, 11 TDs, 15 picks, 73.1 quarterback rating. This is where we begin the Daily Thread, and I'm not quite sure if Albert Breer is going to slander Ohio State quarterback or not. But if you had to take one today, who would you take? Mac Jones?
Mac's definitely had a better start to his career. That's easy. That's an easy one. Although I will say, the situation he's had is much better, too. I mean, we talked about the stuff that Mac has been through.
Yeah.
Justin Fields has already seen an entire staff fired. He went through multiple play caller changes as a rookie. He's going into a new offense in year 2. How many receivers can you name on the Bears? I mean, Darnell Mooney.
N'Keal Harry, baby.
Yeah, N'Keal Harry.
That's right.
Velus Jones. So I do think a big part of this is circumstances. And I think that's the way it is for any young quarterback. To be honest with you, I think if you look at a lot of these guys, like Patrick Mahomes is great, but he had Andy Reid. Josh Allen's great, but he had a super stable situation in Buffalo. Lamar Jackson's done awesome. Went to the perfect place playing for John Harbaugh and Greg Roman.
This is about as bad as it gets in terms of quarterback situations for young players who need coaching, who need development, who need that nurturing, because personnel-wise, you could look at their offensive line. It's probably one of the worst in the league. Bert already mentioned the receiver position group. On third down, I don't know what you do if you're Justin Fields, because I don't know who's supposed to get open from that receiving group there. And you still see a guy who was really accurate at the college level spray the ball around a little bit, Trenni, too, which tells me, even from a mechanics standpoint, so getting out of the front office and into the coaching staff, it's not even always about personnel, because there are times when he has time to throw, and it should look better than it does, and that tells me, coaching-wise, he's probably not getting enough either.
One of the issues with him in college was that he didn't see it fast enough, and what scouts would say about him, he would have to see the receiver come open, and then he would throw it. And he had a good enough arm in college to get the ball there, but the windows closed faster in the NFL. So he'd have to learn to anticipate. That's tough to do at the NFL level. That's sometimes something that's really hard for players to learn how to do. Now, there are guys who have done it. Josh Allen's done it. Jalen Hurts has done it. So there are players who've pulled that off and have been able to do it. But it can be a tough road to get there. And I think that's sort of where Justin Fields is. And if you consider that a really tough thing to learn how to do, and then you add all the circumstances into it, it's a hard place to be.
Who's going to end up being, Phil, do you think, the better NFL quarterback?
I think, unfortunately for Justin Fields, it's going to be Mac Jones, because the situation really, truly matters. We've seen a lot of coaching staffs fail their quarterbacks, and we look at those players as busts down the road because they eventually ended up never working out. But I think a lot of times you can trace that back to the situation. It's impossible to divorce those two things, the quarterback's play and the situation that he's in. Another reason why Justin Fields might not be getting the best situation around him, Trenni, they barely use his legs. This guy might be one of the most athletic players in the NFL across positions. They don't design run plays for him.
You saw that play on Thursday night against Washington, where he weaved through an NFL defense.
He scrambles with the best of them, but they don't design plays into the game plan, it looks like, for him to use his legs, which is one of his greatest strengths.
So knowing all of that, if the Patriots could go back, should they have tried to move up to get Justin Fields? Would it have still, as much as you guys like Mac Jones, would it have been a better long-term fit?
I think it would have required them changing their offense. And they have had that discussion before, right? In 2018, I know that they met before that draft to talk about Lamar Jackson. And what Josh McDaniels told Bill and Nick Caserio and all the decision makers was, we can do this. It's just going to require us playing a very different way than we played before. The Baltimore Ravens had that discussion where John Harbaugh brought in Greg Roman, James Urban, and Marty Mornwig and said to those guys, construct me an offense. They spent a month constructing an offense for him. That led to him being drafted. And so I think it would require that sort of change. Maybe not to the same level, but some of that sort of change in philosophy to make it work.
And maybe the reason they didn't draft Lamar Jackson is because Bill Belichick doesn't really want that kind of quarterback.
Right.
He really values timing, anticipation, decision-making.
More of a traditional quarterback.
Things that Mac Jones brings to the table.